Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. I apologize that I haven't uploaded in a while and things have been happening. Nothing bad, but I've been like a little bit busy with other stuff, so I know that I'm kind of slacking, but here we are with a new video, so yay! This week's video is going to be a little bit different. It will not be about a single topic, but it's going to be several short topics that are very interesting in Theodosian lore. Today's video is going to be about 5 mysteries in Thedas that we wish we knew more information about. The first mystery is what actually lies beyond the lands that we know. We don't know the name of the planet that Thedas is on, but the people of Thedas thinks that Thedas is actually the whole world, which is not accurate, as there are other lands beyond the land that is known as Thedas, and this is what we are going to talk about now. To the south of Thedas, what cartographers and scholars know ends at the Korkari Wilds, a huge span of forest that borders the known lands from the south. It is not applicable to the Chastened, though, who actually live there. According to them, if one travels further south, the trees will give way to sunless lands that is most of the year covered in snow, and if you somehow even venture even more, you will find mountains of ice. And as harsh as the environment there are people who do live there actually. At first, you would think that these are more chastened people, which the chastened will take it as an offense and correct you with their actual name. Those ice mountain dwellers are called Agadi, which is by the chastened language mean the exiled. And it seems there is some sort of bad blood between the chastened and the Agadi. Venturing to the northwest of Thedas, if you survive the dangers of the wandering hills in the Anderfels, you will reach what is known as the jungles of Donarks. Aside from disease and wildlife that seriously endangers anyone who walks the land, there the Kunari who roams there pose as much as a threat as anything else. Tevinter sailors report that the jungles extend far, far to the north, and their word for it is Virdis, or the green. There are certain rumors about chimera and wingless dragons that makes the bravest explorer rethinks their endeavors. To the north of Thedas lies the Varric Ocean, which is littered with islands of substantial size. Some of them are ruled by Tevinter, some are ruled by the Kunari. This is always subject to change with regard to the state of the war. One specific island is called Par Ladi, which is inhabited by people who we will call them the Parladians. These people are not interested in contact with outside people whatsoever. It is said that the Parladians have a coastal fortress that rivals the best fortress in Thedas. They speak an unknown language and they are as noble as any Tevinter magister. They are bedecked in gold and jewels. They push away any outsider, even a crippled ship that limps into their ports. A question arises: if those Parladians do really exist, why haven't they had the attention of the Kunari? Maybe they do have the attention, but the Kunari sees the fortress and rethink their strategies, and people in Thedas far south know nothing of their battles. Some sailors hypothesize of the Parladian witches who coats their islands in magic that discourages anyone who is seeking their lands. Whatever the truth may be, the lack of foothold in the Varric Ocean has prevented the Theodosians from knowing more about the Parladians. Going west of Thedas through the Anderfels, one will reach the settlement of Laish, once a very proud and very live port town. After the Third Blight, it fell into ruins, but not due to the Darkspawn. See, Laish was a port mainly built to receive shipments from across the Volca Sea to the west. Weird, odd-looking cargo vessels would arrive, filled to the brim with wares or spices that have never been seen before in Thedas. This was the sole purpose of such settlement in harsh lands. But starting the Black Age, all trade arriving from the Volca Sea stopped. According to Ander legends, those traders were called the Vushai, and it is said that they were hostile to the people of Laish, absolutely uninterested in learning the common tongue except for basing bartering. They were almost obsessively interested in lyrium of all things. All the ship captains were dwarves and they were being treated with such regard by their crew. That made the Laish people think that dwarves held a place of power in their society. In contrast, there were no sign of elves on the Voshai ships. After the Voshai ships stopped coming to Port Laish, some Tevinter merchant houses banded together and created an expedition with the purpose of, if they don't come to us, we will go to them. This expedition was never seen again, and neither did some vessels that followed them. Until recently, the Voshai memories all but faded, but recent reports say that some Voshai ships have been spotted in Laish port, and the crew was speaking of something that happened to their land, something that they called the massive cataclysm. So my question is, who are these people? What is this massive cataclysm? Is it related to the breach? Why do they seek lyrium from Thedas and not from where they are? If the Dragon Age Origins Warden survives, they go to the west, to lands never been touched by the Blight. Was the Warden where those Vushai people come from? Who am I? What am I doing with my life? Bordering the east of Thedas is the Amaranthine Ocean. It's a massive body of water, plagued by terrible storms and sea creatures. According to some Antivan legends, some adventurous sea captains actually made it beyond and found untouched masses of verdant lands. They call it the Amaranth. They portray it as a paradise, completely uninhabited by any civilized races, just waiting for future settlers to make the dangerous journey across the ocean. Another story suggested that some old god cultists left for the far lands in 3 ships by the end of the Storm Age. Another suggests that several groups of settlers, sponsored by the Free Marches, left from Estwatch in the Blessed Age. All these stories ends the same way. Those expeditions never returned and no one heard anything about them ever again. Only one story of a lady whose husband was on one of these expeditions. She gathered a crew and sailed through the Amaranthine Ocean only to find abandoned camp and a crazed lone survivor who killed himself when the crew tried to get to him to leave the cave he was hiding in. The second mystery is the Forgotten Ones and the Forbidden Ones. The terms are mistakenly used interchangeably, but they differ completely from one another. The Forgotten Ones are a faction of elven gods that are believed by the Dalish to be the evil gods. During the events of what the Dalish called the Great Betrayal, the Forgotten Ones was banished to the Void just as the Creator were banished to the Beyond by Fen'Harel. The details surrounding the Forgotten Ones are lost to time. We don't even know how many of them there was, or why were they considered evil gods. Some tidbits of lore remain, however. They are said to inhabit a place called the Void, where no mortal nor god could have remained in. They hated the creators and asserted that there are no gods and that the right of dominance over others comes from deed, not from nature. The priests of said Forgotten Ones were persecuted during the times of the Dales, but secret worshippers remained, and according to the Dalish, these priests have forsaken their people in exchange of terrible and twisted strengths. Members of such cults in the western parts of Orlais always adorn their faces with crimson Valasleen, and unlike the Dalish who invoke their gods before battle, those cultists offer their enemies as sacrifices to their twisted Forgotten Ones. Known names of the Forgotten Ones are Anaris, Dyrenthal, Gildauran, and Fenharel is arguably considered one of them as he walked freely between the two factions of the gods. On the other hand, the Forbidden Ones is a group of 4 very powerful ancient demons. They are older than both the Darkspawn and the Tevinter Imperium. A memory in the Vir Dirthara during the events of Trespasser DLC portrays the Forbidden Ones as once having a corporeal form. However, during uncertain events, they abandoned their form and became spirits. Thus, the Evanorus exiled them from their lands. During the Unbound quest in Dragon Age Origins, Gakshang, the Unbound, can be encountered in a quaint hovel in Denerim and killed. Zebnikek can be encountered and killed during the quest Forbidden Knowledge in Dragon Age 2. Imshale was summoned by Keeper Thelin throughout the events of the Masked Empire book, so the Dalish clan could unlock the secrets of the Illuvians. Keeper Thelin tricks Imshale and imprisons him, and Michel de Chevron releases him later, and the Inquisitor during Dragon Age Origins can kill the demon in Solidin Keep. The last of the Forbidden One is called the Formless One, and we have absolutely no information whatsoever about them. Mystery number 3 is the Scaled Ones. What we know about the Scaled Ones comes from some codex in the Deep Roads during the events of the Descent DLCs. The Scaled Ones are tall, humanoid race covered in scales with sharp talons and powerful jaws. They wear fine armor and carry fine weapons. One of their priests was able to breathe out fire. They speak a language no one else understands. They waged war against the dwarves after the founding of the Tevinter Imperium in negative 1195 Ancient, but before the destruction of Kadash Taig in negative 975 Ancient. The Scaled Ones seem to have vanished from all records, and no one ever saw them ever again. They seem to have some sort of a religion. They were seen by a dwarf standing next to a golden altar in the shape of fire, with enemy corpses drained of blood hanging on the tip of each flame. The female priest chanted and ignited the blood in a basin, while other skilled people bowed low. Mystery number 4 is the exhibitors. They are some mysterious people who speak on behalf of powers across the sea, which is probably entities beyond the Amaranthine and Boeric oceans. They are organized and have a number of agents across Thedas. Their motivations are unknown, and their symbol is a downward pointing triangle with wavy lines going through it. The Inquisition managed to contact them after discovering their symbol in almost every Inquisition outpost. Historians and librarians were unable to identify the sigil, but Inquisition agent named Argent was able to recognize the symbol from a record that belonged to Comtesse de Billard. The Inquisitor had the option to contact the Comtesse or ambush those who drew the symbol. In either ways, the agents spoke of those across the sea. If the Inquisitor sends Liliana's agent to investigate more, the Inquisitor received a letter that reads as follows. Compliments to your spy master. She is a resourceful woman. Once she traced our agent to Cayman Bria, the match was ruled in her favor. Tell Sister Liliana to call off her dogs. Save them for Corypheus. We suspect also that she has gotten all she can from Sir Helmuth. A caterpillar on a leaf does not know there is a forest about him. You will hear no more from us. Our intentions was to watch, and we have seen enough. Corypheus threatens us all, and the Inquisition is Thedas' only hope for stopping him. Remember that, for the moment, we are not your enemy. As a gesture of goodwill, we share our knowledge. May it prove valuable in your coming battle. On behalf of powers across the sea, the exhibitors. Beware, next part have some spoilers from the story Dreadwolf take you from the book Tevinter Nights. Jump to this minute to avoid the spoilers. The executor attends the meeting of Thedas' best spies to share what they know about Solus or his plans. We learn that those across the sea don't care about Solus himself, but they care about his plans and his means to accomplish said plans. Charter describes the executor agent as covered from head to toe in dark robes, with mesh covering the opening of the hood, with a voice that could be male or female, young or old. Before the executors share their story, Solus managed to silence them by petrification and later warns Charter that those across the sea are dangerous. The executors are mentioned in Varrics' book, Hard and Hightown. Well, this doesn't look very interesting at all, Maze frowned, disappointed. What you have claimed belonged to greater powers. You will answer to us. That's a lot of rubbish. Oh, it's the executors, of course. Maze peered excitedly at the wax sealed, holding it to the window for better light. I should have guessed it from this silly great powers nonsense. There's only been one example on the letter claiming the responsibility for the assassination of Queen Madriel in 599, and this one is so much better. Just look at the imprint. Any idea how would I contact these executors? Donan asked. Oh, they're not real, of course. Everyone knows that. The fifth and last mystery is not actually a mystery, but something that is very interesting to me, which is Sandal. Sandal is considered by most just a regular disabled boy that was raised by a dwarven trader called Bodan Fedek, and usually people speak of him as a comedic relief, but personally I think he has way more depth to his character. But this video is not about theories, but about facts. So what do we know about Sandal Fedek as facts? While searching the deep roads for artifact, a dwarven merchant named Bodan Fedek found a 5-year-old boy with pale like marble hair and clear blue eyes. Although being lost and alone, the dark spawn infested deep roads, the boy didn't show any signs of blights. The chamber the boy was found in contained glittering walls depicting ancient tales of heroes and paragons. There were also depictions of elves, dwarves, dragons, and much more unrecognized creatures. In a huge mosaic filled with gold and gems. When the boy was asked by Bodan what was he doing here, the boy replied, "They're coming." Shortly after, Darkspawn was heard screeching, so the party had to flee. Bodan lifted the 5-year-old boy and ran away. The kid did not seem to be alarmed by the Darkspawn, and he was raised as a foster child by Bodan ever since, and he was given the name Sandal. Some Karta dwarves theorize that Sandal resembles a half-dwarven Idukan child who was lost years ago, whose mother was either a human or an elf. Bodan was accused of stealing by a noblewoman, and to avoid prison, he took Sandal and left to the surface where he worked as a merchant and Sandal as a rune enchanter. According to Bodan, Sandal might have a lyrium-addled brain from being exposed to lyrium, as Sandal is incapable of taking care of himself, and his mental capacity is limited at best. So this is it for 5 mysteries of Thedas that we wish we have more information about. I think the next video is going to be about some theories out there. So if you have any theory that you think that makes sense, just, send me an email. You could actually join my Discord, which is down in the description box. You could mention me in Twitter, which is again down in the description box, and let me know what theories you would like me to talk about. If you have a theory, let me know about it. Let me know what supports it. And of course, if I do these theories videos, it will not be facts or lore facts, but it's just gonna be speculations. So let me know. You can also contact me in the comment section, of course. Thank you again for listening, and see you next time.